with meteorologist Thomas Chase.
Hey everyone, good Thursday afternoon. You know, if I had three words to describe this week, I would say cold, and somehow even colder. We haven't been above freezing since last Thursday at 7 p.m., close to 160 straight hours of below freezing temperatures at or below 32 degrees at the Parkersburg Airport. And we're going to be stuck in that mood going throughout at least this upcoming weekend into the start of the upcoming work week. Likely on Tuesday, going to finally break that freezing mark. But right now in our Jandale Skycam in downtown Marietta, around 14 degrees, feeling like 6 degrees though with those winds out of the west at around 5 miles per hour. Now, Washington County still at a level 2 snow emergency, but as of around 11 a.m. today, Meigs fell down to a level 1, but still joining Athens, Noble, and Monroe at that level 1 snow emergency. Washington and Morgan County still remaining at that level 2. So just a quick reminder on what each snow emergency level means. Once again, if you're in that level 2 in Washington and Meigs, make sure you're contacting your employer before going to work today. See if you have to come in. Otherwise, drive very, very cautiously. Avoid driving if necessary. Level 1, once again, roads are still hazardous. Make sure you're using extreme caution. Heading out the door today, going throughout the afternoon hours today, once again, only rising into the lower 20s this afternoon and then plummeting back down into the single digits overnight tonight. Those first weather days still remain up through at least Sunday due to those slick spots still on our roads, especially those back and side roads that have not been treated yet. We will be remaining below freezing likely until next week. Once again, Tuesday is looking like that day where we finally get back above freezing in the Mid Ohio Valley. So looking at futurecast going throughout this morning, still with those clouds, but not really looking at that much precipitation, if any, today, but maybe a snowflake here or there because it's so cold. Then going throughout the overnight hours tonight, still sticking with those clouds around our area, kind of acting as a blanket, so we won't be plummeting as far as we would have into likely the negatives. We're going to be only in the single digits tonight. So those clouds, once again, acting as a blanket, and that also doesn't really help us going to Friday as well, when we're going to be looking at temperatures around where we are right now in the 20s. So our temperature trend over the next week, once again, 20 degrees today and tomorrow, falling off slightly on Saturday to 18, but as you can see, Sunday, we start that trend back upwards to 23, 30 by Monday, then once again rising above 32 degrees, that freezing mark Tuesday at 33 and 34 on Wednesday. Low temperatures over the next week, once again, kind of mirroring that, going to be rising going into Monday through Wednesday of the upcoming week. So we will be freezing overnight, but looking at those highs, once again, we should get some melting during the day. Long range forecast from the Climate Prediction Center, unfortunately, looking pretty cold here in the Mid Ohio Valley, but on the flip side, not looking at that much precipitation, should be remaining more dry than usual. If you want to take your dog for a walk today, not looking like the best day to do it, make sure you're bundling them up, only rising to around 20 degrees this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. Not as windy though, the sustained wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Heading through the overnight hours tonight, once again, another frigid night, 3 degrees, not really dealing with that much of a wind chill though. Those winds only sustained upwards of 5 miles per hour, so that's one positive. But then going into tomorrow, basically a copy and paste once again day from today, 20 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Over the next 7 days, Emma Grace, those first lower weather days once again through Sunday. Monday is Groundhog's Day. You know, if the groundhog doesn't see its shadow, we do have mostly cloudy skies, so not really looking at a shadow. Yeah, well, hopefully that means an early spring.
You know, do we like take a consensus of all the groundhogs? Because I know we have an Ohio one, we have Punxsutawney Phil in Philadelphia.
Somewhere in Pennsylvania,
right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, and then we have a West Virginia one. So who was the supreme leader?
I would definitely take the consensus.
Okay, good to know. And coming up after the break, President Donald Trump has threatened possible military